It is the election day in Zambia. The Global Network for Rights and Development team are on their way to the polling station before it opens. The Zambian President, Michael Sata, passed away in October 2014. Therefore, an election must be held within 90 days while the Vice President serves as acting President. At 6 a.m, the stations will open, so the GNRD observers, Maureen Ajurian and Miguel Cunha, together with the GNRD media team, are there to make sure that they follow the right protocol. Each station is displayed with the list of the 11 presidential candidates and the name and number of the polling station. As this is Zambia's 6th presidential election, people are early and eager to vote. It is still dark as the GNRD team arrives inside the station and watch as the polling officials set up the voting materials. Party representatives are also there as observers, and they will stay at one station all day to observe that the voting process goes according to the rules and procedures of the Election Commission. The station opened exactly at 6 a.m, and voters were let in one at a time. Each voter is assigned to a specific polling station, and they must vote there. As the voters entered, they produced identification, and the polling station officials cross-checked each voter with their list. The list consists of each voter with their photo and name. After they are registered, they are labelled with a permanent marker to avoid multiple voting and given the voting ballot.
George, 23, Sefu Justin, voters card number 022.
During the day, the GNRD team will travel across the city of Lusaka and observe the voting process at 14 different stations. The mission's assessment of the electoral process was conducted in accordance with the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observers, as well as to Zambia's laws and regulations. In addition, the mission was observed by following the GNRD Code of Conduct for observation missions. The observation mission was carried out as part of GNRD's Democracy and Good Governance program in Africa. The decision to deploy an observation mission in Zambia was based on the country's importance as the headquarters of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, with which GNRD has recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding to deepen cooperation in various areas. Additionally, Zambia is a priority country for GNRD as it hosts the organisation's African branch. It was decided to deploy an observation mission to contribute to the Zambian people's efforts to consolidate the country's democracy, to support the people of Zambia's right to vote, and to facilitate greater transparency of the elections. The stations are set up at different schools, hotels or country clubs. As it is the rain season in Zambia, many polling stations are closed and cannot open until the next day or later in the week. GNRD remains committed to completing all election observations in a non-partisan, unbiased and professional manner. To ensure consistent accuracy and quality of information, GNRD utilises a standardised methodology to gather and evaluate data. The observers receive a warm welcome at each polling station and perform their work without restrictions. The polling stations have a peaceful atmosphere where people wait quietly in line. Even though there are no voting instructions at the stations, the polling officials provide assistance to voters who needed guidance. As the sun went down over Lusaka, the 12-hour voting day was coming to an end. At 6 p.m, all of the stations closed and the counting process started. The process was divided into 3 parts. First, the officials counted the total number of ballots in the box. Then they read the name of the candidate on the ballot, showed it to everyone who was observing, and put the name in the assigned box.
1, 2,
Finally, they counted how many votes each candidate got. They announced the result of that polling station before shipping the votes to the main polling centre.
455 votes, Lungu 8, Diga CPF 630.
At the end of the day, the total number of voters was not high, about 32% of the total number of registered voters. However, this was only their 6th presidential election. Zambia is still a growing country that celebrated its 50th year as a nation last year. They were able to organise a peaceful, well-organised and transparent electoral process, which is an important indicator of the country's consolidating democracy. Despite having limited experience with elections, they were well prepared, and hopes are high that Zambia will quickly grow into the nation it has the potential to be.